You remember like him sitting up there blaming TikTok? Why doesn't he take a position of him wanting to protect his citizens and say, hey, you're not going to attack and target anybody in my city the same way y'all did with Stop Asian Hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you allow these white women, unfortunately, to just walk down the street and feel unsafe and get punched in the face? Like, he's blaming the victim.
Again, this is nothing more than progressives, Democrats, the left, denying the reality that they work to create, right?
Talking about New York City, there's been a rash of violence against women in New York City. Women are speaking out about this trend of being assaulted on the street. People are running up to them, walking up to them as they're walking in it, throughout NYC and just punching them in the face. It's really awful. And we have here Mayor Adams was talking about the violence here this weekend. Take a look at this.
Blame it on TikTok, and now there have been 2 arrests?
Yes, despicable. They better hope that I'm not out on the street when I see that takes place. It's unbelievable that you see the corrosiveness of TikTok. Not only thing for teaching people how to steal cars, how to ride on top of subway stations, trains, but just this pervasive, negative, antisocial behavior. And for a woman to walk the street, I have 2 sisters, it's unacceptable to be punched in that manner. Now, this version of TikTok is not displayed in China. China, which puts out TikTok, you can't have this in their country. That is why we're going after social media companies.
So we do see these incidents happening on video.
Well, we've seen a few in this.
Look at that woman in the middle looking at them.
We see this trending when someone sees something on TikTok, Instagram, or one of these social media platforms, they duplicate this behavior. And there's a real correlation between the negative actions and what people are seeing trending on social media.
All right. So I'm confused on this. What does that have to do with this? First of all, I don't know of any trend on TikTok pushing this. Do you all, Shelly?
No, I heard about it based on this, but I haven't seen it myself. I think
you have TikTok.
Again, this is nothing more than progressives, Democrats, the left, denying the reality that they work to create. Right? These policies where they don't want to lock up the violent criminals, they want to, tap them on the hand, let them go through the revolving door, no bail, all this kind of stuff. They don't see the connections and how all these things feed in to make the quality of life not just poor, but now dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, they have said overall crime in New York has fallen. Police reported a decrease in shootings, murders, and other crimes like grand larceny as opposed to February of last year, but attacks come amid a statistical rise in misdemeanor assault. According to crime statistics for the past week, misdemeanor assault is up 10.3% from this time last year, and it has gone up 15.7% in the past 2 years. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this, Crystal?
He sounds like a fool. Like, oh, TikTok is to blame. First of all, they can put on and share with whoever they want to, because it is really embarrassing to walk down the street and have yourself have someone punch you in the face. Right. And it's so, what makes me so mad is that these are white women. You ain't going to try that on no sister girl, because you will get drugged down. But you remember like him sitting up there blaming TikTok. Why doesn't he take a position of him wanting to protect his citizens and say, if you punch a woman in this in my city, it is going to be a hate crime. Right. You're going to get double the instead of him saying, hey, putting out his own TikTok video, he should say, hey, just so you know, from the mayor's office, if you punch a woman in my city, you're going to get this, you're going to wish you hadn't. He's blaming the victim.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and again, this was, it appears to be some type of hazing, maybe gang initiation that goes on. Maybe. But whatever it is, these people that are doing it are so brazen, they don't believe that there's any accountability or repercussions to their violence.
Exactly. Exactly. To your point, now you said about crime overall going down. That's the same thing that's happening here. It's happening across the country in certain cities, right? But the violent crime has gone down, while the other basic, if you want to call them quality of life, misdemeanors have increased. Not only that, a lot of these leftist mayors, prosecutors, they have reduced and made the misdemeanor. Well, I'm gonna say they reduced the charges, I guess, but they've made the what do you call it? The penalty, the fines higher. So, like in California, instead of stealing 500 and getting slapped with a fine or maybe some kind of felony, now you can steal $1,000 worth of stuff and still walk away with it. So the quality of life, Marilyn Mosby here in Baltimore, we just talked about her. These are the kinds of crimes that she refused to prosecute, while the citizens of Baltimore were at the mercy of the thugs, basically.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and what are you doing to protect the city? Like, this is clearly targeted to white women. Like clearly this is targeted. And so for you to not see that and say, hey, you know, you're not gonna attack and target anybody in my city the same way y'all did with Stop Asian Hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you allow these white women, unfortunately, to just walk down the street and feel unsafe and get punched in the face? Like,
I'm surprised they didn't call it a hate crime.
It's privilege.
Oh, okay.
This is the white women are privileged to be the first to be attacked.
They should call it a hate crime.
I'm not with you. I'm not.
I'm not either. But that's the kind of stupid nonsense that this leftists push.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They should call it a hate crime.
Yeah, and you might have something there. You said, Shelley. Recently, Fox News reported the Coalition for Law, Order, and Safety, also called CLOS, found true crime rates may actually be higher than FBI statistics show. CLOS points that methodological and reporting problems as the possible source of the discrepancy. So, for instance, the CDC reports nearly 20% increase in homicides nationwide from 2019 to 23. According to researchers. Meanwhile, FBI data shows an increase of only 8.3%. Right. So there may be some disconnect, some misreporting there.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you guys, we've been in professional spaces where we've looked at spreadsheets. You can make the data whatever you want it to be.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, like I was a financial analyst for a few years, and what do you want the data to look like? If you want it to look like this, I can make the data look whatever. And
it does depend on the methodology that they're using to get all of the different, samples and, whether they come from this area and what they're including in the sample. It does make a difference. But the thing is that even let's just say for the sake of argument that violent crime is down, the people do not perceive it to be so. So when they go to the polls, I don't care what Brandon Scott says, what's his name, New York Mayor says, Mayor Adams says, I don't care what they say if it's down, because the people who are actually living in these places don't think so.
Yeah. Well, it says here, another part of this whole clause is, as police solve fewer crimes, prosecutors convict fewer criminals, and even fewer offenders go to jail, victims lose faith that justice will be served, so they don't bother reporting the crime, and real crime vanishes into thin air.
No, it ends up on TikTok. Real crime ends up on TikTok.
Yeah. You cannot count what you don't report. So if it's not reported, if it's not recorded, they don't count it in the statistics. The numbers will automatically come down.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, personally, I live in one of the safest areas, one of the safest areas in Baltimore City for 20 years. And within the last, I'd say 10 years, 5 to 10 years, we have seen exponential crime. I mean, we've never had someone break into on the street where we live, into the homes there. Now we have that. We've seen squatters. There've been all sorts of break-ins and muggings, things like that. That was not the normal here where I live. And now we've been seeing an uptick in that. So I personally know that there's been an uptick in crime. I don't care what anybody says.
You can look at it like,
Yeah. So, and it is sad that this is going on, but hopefully people are taking note of this and are pushing back against the narrative that's being pushed by Democrats and these leftists and voting them out.